The air crackled with anticipation. The atmosphere was electric, charged with the energy of thousands who had gathered, each person a part of the larger, pulsating mass of humanity. A sea of red hats stretched across the rally grounds, a vivid testament to the loyalty and fervor of the supporters who had come from far and wide. The crowd was a living, breathing entity, unified in purpose and anticipation. Former President Donald Trump, a familiar silhouette against the backdrop of American flags, was captivating the crowd. His presence was magnetic, drawing the eyes and ears of everyone present. His voice, a blend of confidence and defiance, echoed through the air. His words, a potent mix of grievance and promise, washed over the fervent supporters. He spoke of past glories and future victories, igniting a fire in the hearts of those who believed in his vision. Then a shift, a subtle change in the atmosphere, almost imperceptible at first. A ripple of unease spread through the crowd. It was as if a dark cloud had passed over the sun, casting a shadow over the gathering. Faces that had been animated with excitement now showed signs of concern. A commotion near the stage, shouts, screaming. The joyous noise of the rally was suddenly pierced by cries of alarm. People turned, craning their necks to see what was happening. Secret Service agents, their faces grim and determined, materialized around Trump. Their movements were swift and practiced, a well-rehearsed dance of protection and urgency. In a flash they whisked him away, a blur of movement amidst the pandemonium. The former president was gone, leaving behind a void that was quickly filled with panic and confusion. The crowd, moments ago energized and chanting, was now a sea of confusion and fear. People looked to one another for answers, but found only mirrored expressions of uncertainty. What had been a celebration of political identity had morphed into a scene of chaos and potential violence. The air, once filled with cheers, was now thick with tension and the acrid scent of fear. News cameras struggled to keep up, their lenses capturing the frantic scramble and the palpable terror that gripped the rally. Reporters, caught in the maelstrom, tried to make sense of the unfolding events. Rumors flew through the crowd like wildfire: an assassination attempt, a bomb threat. The speculation was rampant, each theory more terrifying than the last. The answer, as it slowly emerged, was both shocking and chilling. A man, armed and dangerous, had been apprehended just feet from the former president. The realization sent a fresh wave of fear through the crowd. The man, later identified as Thomas Matthew Crooks, became the focal point of a nation on edge. His name and face were soon plastered across every news outlet, a symbol of the day's terror. His motives, his background, his potential connections, all became subjects of intense scrutiny. Investigators delved into his past, searching for clues that might explain his actions. The July 2024 rally, intended as a show of force for the former president, instead became a stark reminder of the volatile political climate and the very real dangers faced by those in the public eye. It was a sobering moment for the nation. The attempted attack on Donald Trump in July 2024 sent shockwaves across the nation and beyond. The implications were profound, touching on issues of security, political division, and the lengths to which individuals might go to make a statement. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present threat of violence in a world increasingly divided. The event underscored the need for vigilance and the importance of safeguarding democratic processes. As details of the event unfolded, one thing became clear: the specter of violence against political figures, a dark thread running through American history, was once again rearing its ugly head. The nation was left to grapple with the aftermath, seeking answers and hoping for a path forward that might lead to healing and unity.
Who was this man who had dared to threaten a former president? What drove him to such an extreme act? The name Thomas Matthew Crooks would soon be on everyone's lips, but few knew the full story behind the man.
The name Thomas Matthew Crooks was instantly catapulted from obscurity to infamy. Overnight he became a household name, a symbol of the growing unrest and division within the country. His face, plastered across television screens and news websites, became synonymous with the chaos that had erupted at the rally. The media frenzy painted him as a villain, but the truth was far more complex. Details emerged slowly, painting a picture of a troubled individual consumed by anger and resentment. Friends and family described him as a quiet man, but beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. Crooks, a 32-year-old unemployed mechanic from rural West Virginia, had no prior criminal record. He lived a seemingly ordinary life in a small, tight-knit community. However, a deep dive into his online activity revealed a dark undercurrent of extremism and a growing obsession with conspiracy theories. His digital footprint was a roadmap of radicalization. His social media posts, filled with vitriol and hate speech, painted a picture of a man radicalized by the very forces that fueled division in the country. He was not alone in his beliefs, finding solace in online communities that echoed his sentiments. He railed against the government, the media, and anyone he perceived as an enemy of his warped ideology. His rants grew more intense, more desperate, as he sought validation from like-minded individuals. His posts, once dismissed as the ramblings of a disgruntled loner, now took on a sinister significance. They were a window into a mind that had been twisted by misinformation and hatred. Crooks, it seemed, was a product of his time, a chilling example of how online echo chambers could transform frustration into fanaticism. The algorithms that fed him content only deepened his convictions, creating a feedback loop of anger and paranoia. He saw himself as a patriot, a warrior fighting against a corrupt system. In his mind, he was a hero, standing up for what he believed was right. In his twisted worldview, violence was not only justified but necessary. He believed that drastic actions were required to bring about the change he so desperately wanted. The attempted attack on Trump, it became tragically clear, was not a random act but the culmination of a slow burn of rage and resentment. It was the final, desperate act of a man who felt he had nothing left to lose. His story serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of radicalization and the power of online influence.
His intentions, as he later confessed, were to grab the officer's gun and assassinate the then candidate.
The July 2024 incident, while deeply unsettling, was not an isolated event in the tumultuous years of Donald Trump's political life. In June 2016, during his initial presidential campaign, a chilling incident in Las Vegas, Nevada served as an early warning sign of the dangers that lay ahead. Michael Sanford, a troubled young man from the United Kingdom, approached a police officer at a Trump rally in Las Vegas. Sanford, who had a history of mental health issues, had become fixated on Trump, viewing him as a threat to the world. Fortunately, Sanford's attempt was thwarted before he could carry out his plan. The officer, alert and suspicious, noticed Sanford acting nervously and apprehended him before he could get close enough to pose a real threat. The incident sent shockwaves through the campaign and raised serious concerns about the safety of the increasingly polarizing figure of Donald Trump. While Sanford's attempt was ultimately unsuccessful, it served as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of public figures, particularly in the charged atmosphere of a presidential campaign. The Las Vegas incident underscored the very real dangers posed by lone wolves, individuals driven by extremist ideologies or personal fixations, who could emerge from the shadows and strike without warning. In August 2016, just 2 months after the Las Vegas incident, another close call shook the Trump campaign. The atmosphere was already charged with tension and uncertainty, and this new incident only added to the growing sense of unease. This time, the threat emerged from the crowd at a rally in Reno, Nevada. The rally was packed with fervent supporters, all eager to hear Trump's latest speech. As Trump addressed his supporters, a commotion broke out near the front of the stage. The noise quickly drew the attention of both the audience and the security personnel. A young man, later identified as Austin Kreitz, was spotted behaving erratically and shouting anti-Trump slogans. His actions were disruptive and immediately raised red flags among the security team. Secret Service agents, their eyes trained on Kreitz, noticed something alarming, a bulge in his waistband. This discovery heightened their sense of urgency and concern. Fearing the worst, they reacted swiftly and decisively. The agents had to make a split-second decision, knowing that any hesitation could have dire consequences. Kreitz was tackled to the ground, subdued, and whisked away from the crowd. The swift action of the security team prevented what could have been a catastrophic event. The rally ground to a halt, the air thick with tension and fear. Supporters were left in a state of shock, unsure of what had just transpired. Upon examination, the bulge in Kreitz's waistband turned out to be a handgun. This discovery only added to the gravity of the situation. Kreitz, who was later revealed to be a registered Republican, claimed that he had been carrying the gun for self-defense and had no intention of harming Trump. His explanation, however, did little to calm the nerves of those present. The Reno incident, while ultimately not an assassination attempt, highlighted the volatile and unpredictable nature of political rallies, particularly in the age of Trump. The political climate was charged, and emotions ran high on both sides. It also raised serious questions about the adequacy of security measures and the challenges of identifying and neutralizing potential threats in crowded and emotionally charged environments. The incident served as a stark reminder of the ever-present dangers at such events. He maintained that he had simply been trying to get closer to the stage to hold up a sign protesting Trump's candidacy. His actions, however, were perceived as a significant threat, leading to the swift and decisive response from the security team. In the aftermath, supporters and attendees were left to discuss and process the incident. The event underscored the importance of vigilance and the need for robust security measures at political rallies. News coverage of the Reno incident spread quickly, with various media outlets analyzing the implications and potential consequences. The incident became a focal point in discussions about political safety and the measures needed to protect public figures. In the wake of the Reno Scare, security personnel at future rallies were on high alert, constantly scanning the crowd for any signs of potential threats. The incident had a lasting impact on how security was managed at political events. Trump continued to address his supporters, but with an increased security presence. The Reno Scare served as a sobering reminder of the unpredictable nature of political rallies and the ever-present need for vigilance.